All of the Amazons are well? Not well, your grace, but getting better. It will take some time for them all to fully recover. But what about the war? We need our troops to march on Everburn. Loren, do not rush the recovery process. You need your sisters at their best. The war may have to wait. But for how long am I to wait? We'll follow you whenever you command, your majesty. Loren frowned, knowing she could not ask the ailing to fight for her so soon. Arrival! Generals from the Empire! General Samael and Astron entered the citadel and greeted Loren. You're here, and looking none the worse for wear. We heard that the Amazons had gotten sick. Did you need aid? We can send you our doctors. Thank you, General. We have dealt with the problem, and we are now recovering. Great, because I came to announce the blasted council has finally gotten off their high horse. The city of Horse put a lot of pressure on the council, but it was my testimony that sealed it. They've allowed me the power to grant the role of supreme commander of our army. That's fortunate news. You've come to grant Loren her request in person, then? Yes, I'm here on behalf of the Empire to allow you the highest authority over my and Astron's forces. Use them well. I will. And the elves? And the elves? The elven ambassador visited while you were out, majesties. He gave me this. Breza retrieved a wand covered in leaves with a jewel on the end. This is the scepter of the Weald. Of the Weld. Wieldweld. Wald. Weald. Weddled. Mirth took the stick and turned it upright, presenting it officially to Loren. It signifies the leader of the protectors of the forest, which means you control all elven troops. The elders have agreed to grant me their military as well. That makes two. You have united the armies. Loren gripped the scepter firmly. So, we have come to the end of it all. Everyone stood in silence, taking it the fact that the greatest battle of their time was very close to reality. Are we prepared to lay siege to the demons? The Amazons still need to recover their strength, but we will march on your orders. If there is anything we need to accomplish before seeking out Faust, we should do it now. This is the end of Chapter 3. In Chapter 4, you will not be able to travel the world or use the camp feature. It is highly recommended you finish your business with your party members. You will have one more chance to purchase items in Chapter 4, but you will not be able to travel to the shops you've seen thus far. Let the Amazons regain their strength. In the meantime, I will complete what is left to be done. Yes, your grace. I will be here awaiting your orders. Speak to Breza to advance. Okay. Well, I guess it's time to try and finish up party buffs and all that. To camp. Saren had been watching Shambara in the distance for a long time now. The witch was sitting at the edge of the forest with a black book. Every now and then, a mysterious light would appear and then disappear. Saren's curiosity got the better of him, and he finally approached her, though carefully. You're not doing anything dangerous, are you? Shambara stopped as if she were annoyed. If you must know, yes, I'm doing black magic. I happen to enjoy it if you didn't notice. What are you doing? We have a right to know. You don't need to worry, I won't summon demons or change someone into a toad. What you're doing is forbidden. Just a silly rule. Because it's dangerous. Just because it's fear doesn't mean it's... Shambara stopped speaking and her eyes widened. Shambara. She doubled over and continued to stare blankly ahead of her. She wasn't breathing. Shambara! Saren rushed next to her and instantly felt that she was boiling hot. Saren tried not to panic. He racked his mind for a spell, any spell. He placed his hand against Shambara's chest and closed his eyes. In the next moment, he yanked his hand away from a bright and multicolored flame that was ripped out of Shambara's body. Saren held the magic fire in his hand and stared at it, wildly trying to make sense of what just happened. Shambara recovered and saw that Saren had saved her. What is this? What just happened to you? How did you do that? How are you continuing to do that? Do what? Shambara stared at Saren in awe and crawled over to him. She sat in silence for a moment. You're holding dark magic. What? Saren shot his hand as far away from it as possible and tried to shake the magic fire from it. No, stop it! Don't act rash! That's what's really dangerous, you fool! Shambara stopped his hand and held the fire up to her face. Amazing. Get rid of it! Have you always been able to do this? Wield raw magic like this? Saren swallowed, trying not to focus on how much he didn't want to be holding dark magic anymore. I don't know. Please, take it away. I can't. Only people like you can be so lucky. You call this lucky? Hold still, let me finish the spell. You know that only happened because you interrupted me. Shambara hastily read the rest of the page and pointed her wand at the flame. After some guidance, the flame jumped from Saren's hand and into the air. It swirled and disappeared. They both stared at the empty space and tried to regain the feeling in their bodies again. When Saren finally looked back at Chambara, he saw that she was already staring at him. You have a gift. No, I refuse it. I don't want it. I have only read of those who can control dark magic, as you have just done. I have never seen it with my own eyes. I am a magician, like you. Don't you see the difference? Chambara shook her wand and grabbed Saren's wrist at the same time. I read books and follow recipes, like most every other magic user in these lands. I can't reach into someone's very essence and pull out dark magic. I can't hold it in my hand with only my mind. Chambara's eyes bounced between Saren's intently. What's wrong with me? Absolutely nothing. They stared deeply at each other for a moment. Saren began to feel the weight of what Chambara was saying. You can become something very powerful. I can teach you. Saren pulled away from Chambara then. It was Saren's instinct not to trust any offer from a witch. To do evil. Aren't you past such labels by now? Do you truly think all which you don't understand is evil? There's a whole world out there that simple-minded folks turn away from in fear. Ignorant, simple-minded fear. Would you throw away this gift to live by the rules of a world that has oppressed you, enslaved you? You have the power to change that right now. I can help you. It was a romantic idea. The visions of freedom and power raced through Saren's mind, and Chambara. She was a dark witch. She was hunted and considered evil. Would he want that for himself as well? I can't live like you do. I need more than that. And frankly, I think you do too. It was Saren's turn to leave Chambara. The memory of that day haunted Saren for a long time. The idea that he could be talented not only with magic, but with dark magic. That scared him. Chambara had only wanted to help him explore that talent, but then Saren would become just like her. But the more he thought about it, he started to wonder why that was such a bad thing. Boink. Back to camp. Saren saw that Mirth was distressed as she walked around the edge of camp. What are you looking for? The Dark Witch. Chambara. She's gone. I always try to keep an eye on her, but this time I fear she has gotten away. For good. I do not know. It worries me when I don't know where she is. Stay here in case she comes back. Saren broke away and entered the forest. It was late in the day, so it was very dark in the shade. Eventually, he heard a noise ahead of him. Chambara! He could barely see. The noise moved again, and he heard faint laughter from a woman. He was sure it was her, but Saren couldn't see her. What are you doing out here? Chambara! Come to find me, have you? I knew you would. You simply can't leave me alone. Her laughter was now behind Saren. He spun around. A glint of light caught his attention. Chambara's eyes glistened in the shadows. I see you now. Come out. No, come get me. Saren didn't understand why she was playing games with him. Were you trying to escape back to the swamps? I thought you agreed to stay. Come get me, Saren. She purred at him a second time. Saren sighed and advanced into the darkness, focusing on the witch's eyes. Saren stumbled forward in blindness and tried to feel for the tree he knew was there. He found a warm body instead of a tree trunk. The pair of eyes he was supposed to be watching were suddenly right in front of him. Bara? Saren was holding Chambara against the tree in a moment of disbelief. She had tricked him into this position. Very good. I think I like you very much. Her words fell against his face. Saren swallowed and tried to pull back, but Chambara closed any gap he formed. Have you gone mad? Don't be so harsh on yourself. Why did you come all the way out here? I wanted to see what would happen. I'm very happy you came instead of that uppity druid. Chambara's hands found Saren's chest, and he gasped. I don't understand. What's to understand? Chambara's eyes narrowed in on him. Saren's head grew heavy, staring at them. He leaned forward, but Chambara stepped back and lured him to follow her with his eyes. She walked backward slowly, and Saren obediently followed. Chambara was the only thing that Saren could see. This way, she called. Saren obeyed. No! Stop! Chambara was knocked out of Saren's view, but he could hear her laughter. Saren, shake from her spell! Saren blinked and looked around. Shambara was smiling only a few paces away. Mirth stood in front of Saren, blocking him from a dangerous cliff. I wasn't actually going to do it. I was just playing with him. What just happened? She bewitched you! It was very easy. I think he secretly desires me. You did what? It was a joke. I wasn't going to do anything. Don't believe her. I caught her in time, and now she is lying to save herself. No, you simply ruined my joke. After that encounter with the succubus, it looked like you needed some training in bewitchment. You tried to kill me. If I wanted to kill any of you, I wouldn't waste my time with anything as tedious as this. Besides, why would I want to kill you before I've had my fun with you? I'm not here for your amusement. But you're so fun. We will take you to Loren for judgment. I will request the highest punishment. Mirth suddenly gestured at Chambara, and vines shot out of the ground and wrapped around the witch's hands to bind her. Excuse you? Saren! Chambara deigned to look at Saren for help, but he only looked away in anger. He could not believe he allowed himself to be fooled by her, almost at the cost of his life. At camp, Loren could not deny what Chambara's joke appeared to be and had to punish her. Mirth suggested that she be put to death as she promised, however Karen forbid it. Karen gave Chambara this one reprieve after having helped Loren find her in the Cthulhu temple, and after warning them about the war. She knew that Chambara was not seeking to kill them. Chambara was shaken from Karen's generosity and how close she had come to Loren's wrath. She sat by the fire in silence for the entire night. Saren couldn't help but pity her, even though she had bewitched him. Karen believes you are worth her grace. Chambara's gaze drifted to Saren. I meant to scare you, not kill you. That is also cruel. I am a cruel woman. No, you're not. My queen vouches for you, and so do I. Chambara looked away. I won't be flattered since I know how foolish you really are now. When I look at you, that's all I feel I can be. Perhaps everyone else is right. Perhaps you've been bewitching me this whole time. Maybe I really have been mistaken about you. Who's the cruel one here? You claimed you had faith in me, then immediately sowed doubt? Fine, you shall know the truth. I am no demon succubus. I don't derive pleasure from altering the minds of my lovers. I don't need fake enthusiasm or false pleasure. I've never once used dark magic to play with anyone's hearts, black or otherwise. Because I don't even know how. It's not that easy to do to someone. Who would have thought that tender organ was such a hard lock to pick? So anything you felt, well, that was all you, big boy. Happy now? Chambara darted away from the campfire. Saren knew the witch had been embarrassed to admit she didn't know how to do something, which meant his bewitchment never happened. Boink. Let's talk to Dora. Saren saw Dora sulking on a log by the fire. She was frowning deeply, so he walked up to her. What's the matter? Dora snapped up straight and covered up something in her lap. Nothing. That wasn't very convincing. Okay, promise not to tell anyone, okay? Dora uncovered her lap and revealed Ramus's family gemstone. Saren crossed his arms at how predictable she was. Don't be shocked, but this isn't mine. Yes? Ramus dropped it. Are you sure? He left it lying around. Dora. Okay, I stole it! She hunched over, realizing how loud she shouted that. Fair and square. I see. And why do you look so sad? Feeling guilty? Is that what this is called? Guilt? Weird. So, you feel bad from stealing this from Ramus? I do. She looked up at Saren with watering eyes, unlike he had ever seen her. I just can't help it. It was there and it was shiny and I just took it even though I didn't want to. Not from him. You feel particularly bad for stealing from Ramus. Yeah. I don't want to steal from him. I really like this. I can't stop looking at it, but I feel so wrong. What should I do? Airplane? 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 Holy shit, that was loud. Okay, confront Ramus. I want you, if you want to clear your conscience, you have to go up to Ramus and apologize. That's insane! I've never done that ever! There's a first time for everything. You feel bad for taking it, don't you? I'm sure Ramus will be touched that you cared so much to return it. You think? I know. Well, I guess I should face him because this feeling is just awful. It needs to go away soon. Dora hopped up, nodded to herself, and made her way over to Ramus. Saren smiled, hoping that Ramus would finally get the courage to say what was in his heart. Let's see. Polymesho. Nope. Draco! Nothing. Amukiki. Nothing. Ramus! Say it! Say it! Say it! Say it! Say it! Saren watched Dora confront Ramus from afar. She was very reserved at first, shuffling her feet and hanging her head. Ramus, however, was blushing up a storm. She held out the gem, but he blushed more. Ramus looked as if he stammered with his words for a while, until he finally shouted loud enough for even Saren to hear. You're a really fine lady, and I think you're the best thing that could ever happen to me! Dora was stunned, staring back at him. She looked away bashfully and smiled. Then she giggled. She poked at his chest, and Ramus gulped. Eventually, he smiled and looked unable to contain himself. Saren took this opportunity to walk to them. I assume everything went well. But buddy, Dora, Dora giggled and hid her face with the gem in her hands. Ramus planned this all along. He wanted me to find this because he's a super big softie. So cute. Cute? She thinks I'm cute. I always thought you were a cutie dwarf. I think you're the prettiest. Dora giggled again. Saren was sure they would make each other very happy. Thank you, man. Thank you for helping me finally come out and say it. I would have been such a fool to never say how I really felt about her. It would have been worse to never known I could have kept that blasted thing a secret. Did you want this back? No, it's yours, please. Keep the thing, I got it for you. Is this your family crest? Rama stuck out his chest with pride. Yep. Oh, there's so many merits on it. You must be like royalty over there. Ha! They wish. They'll never rope me into that political hooey. It's just me, my ex, and my girl. Dora squeaked and threw her arms around Ramus and rubbed her nose against his. Saren backed off, knowing to give this. That was fucking adorable! Fucking adorable. Oh, the other thing I changed is when Ramus asks you to give Dora the gem, you have to try to give it to her, but then she denies it, so you give it back to Ramus, so he hides it in his things, and that's what led to Dora finding it and stealing it, and oh, that was fucking adorable. Fucking goddamn adorable. Oh, man. Ah, yes. So good. Hey, this is RPGatWill. I hope you liked this episode of Loren the Amazon Princess. If you want to check out some of my other material, you can click on my channel link below, or you can even subscribe if you'd like. I like to do some silly songs on the side, along with my RPG work. If you want to see some more group-oriented stuff, there's another channel called Gaming Idiots TV that I take part in. That's where we do all our group stuff, so I'll provide a link below if you want to check it out there. See you next time.